tulong na walang kapalit, bukal sa kalooban. Ang tanging hangarin ay magsilbi sa bayan. Sulong na Bayan! Programang sasa inyo, alas 2 hanggang alas 3 ng hapon. Sulong na Bayan! Kasama si Miss Loli Acosta sa DWIZ 882.
Mapagpalang hapon po sa ating mga tagapakinig. Welcome po sa ating programang Sulong na Bayan. At tayo po'y dinig sa iba't bang panig ng mundo. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening as the case may be. Lalong-lalo po sa Estados Unidos, sa East Coast, sa West Coast, ganoon rin po sa gitnang silangan. Napakalakas po natin sa Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, dyan sa Jeddah, Riyadh, Qatar, Dubai, at syempre sa ating mga neighboring countries. Saan-saan naman po yan? Sa Down Under, sa Australia, hello po mate, sa Darwin, sa Adelaide, sa Queensland, at sa, napakarami po, too many to mention, but ang daming nakikinig sa atin sa Australia. At sa iba pang countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong, Myanmar, at ganoon din po sa Macau, napakalakas din daw po natin dyan. At dito naman po, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, lalong-lalo po sa ating mga kapatiang Muslim, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom. Alright, napaka-blessed po natin na makakasama natin. Actually, their time zone is different, but they really made an effort to join us for today's episode dahil good news po ito. Ano po ang aking gustong sabihin? Yung mga barangays natin, that's the basic unit of society dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, may good news po silang ipapabahagi sa inyo dahil gusto po nilang mag-reach out. Ito nga rin po yung sinasabi natin pa ulit-ulit na ating layunin dito sa ating programa is to make known, ulitin ko po, to the ends of the earth, so to speak, ang lahat ng mga mabubuting balita. At syempre, mabubuting balita ay kailangan makarating hanggang sa dulo-dulo po. Alam po natin na we have 7,100 islands and the government, ang ating mga iba't ibang sangay ng pamahalaan, they can only do so much. So I'm so blessed na itong grupo po nila will really reach out sa mga barangays. Yan po ang kanilang uunahin dahil ang kanilang advocacy is reaching out every barangay in the Philippines through the 2040 vision. Di po ba? Napakaganda at napakalaki po itong project na to. But to tell us more about it, let's welcome sa ating programang Sulong na Bayan, no less than Pastor Archie Castro from Virginia at ganyan si Pastor Fred Bertuccio from, pareho po silang Virginia base. Welcome, good morning, good evening. Hello po, Pastor Archie.
Good morning or good afternoon po dyan sa inyo sa Philippines.
Right, po. Ayan, and then greet us first, Pastor Fred in Virginia then.
Hello, good afternoon mga kababayan. We're so blessed be able to have this opportunity to share with you what the Lord has given us and trusted us through this vision.
Okay. The Vision 2040. Educate us first, Pastor Archie. Go ahead po.
Ang Vision 2040 ay dumating po sa atin mula sa Panginoon sa pamagitan ni Pastor Fred. Pero nagsimula ito nung at the height of pandemic kung saan nag-call si Pastor Fred sa mga kapatiran o mga kapastoran natin sa Pilipinas na ating inaabot sa pamagitan ng iClip. Nandiyan po sa background ni Pastor Fred.
Yes.
At nagtuturo po tayo ng mga bagay tungkol sa pag-aaral ng salita ng Diyos. At ina-encourage sa mga pastor. And then, in the middle of that, dumating yung Vision 2040. At yun po ay pag-reach out ng ebanghelyo sa bawat barangay at the very grassroots sa bawat barangay sa Pilipinas. Yan po yun. Ano?
Right. I saw in your background there, Pastor Fred, that you are the president of iClip, C-L-I-P. Tell us more about it. What is iClip and what is its mission and vision? Go ahead, Pastor Fred.
Sure, yeah. So iClip stands for International Community Leadership Initiatives Philippines. So that's what it stands for.
Yeah, I can see that in your background, International Community and Initiatives Philippines.
Philippines.
So when and how did it start, the iClip?
Sure. So iClip initially really started brewing between me and my wife. We've been in the marketplace ministry. We've had care home for a number of years, now going 22 years, and we just felt that we've been so blessed, and God blessed us to be a blessing. And so it started in 2016 when I invited a couple for a lunch, and I said, at least can we do something? Your family is blessed, my family is blessed. So can we at least do something for our kababayans? Little did we know that we network with now our main ministry partner is ICM, International Cooperating Ministries. So that's how it started. Basically, all the missions and goals was written on a napkin po. So
really now a simple napkin made a difference. Oh, that's so awesome. But it was the Holy Spirit leading, I'm sure, because it's not just you. Again, I always say and repeat,
absolutely
right, in our program I have one verse a day that goes on every Monday, and I keep saying, apart from God, the skills, the talents, abilities that we have, it's not us. It's His word. So again, even in a napkin, you were saying, it's just, you have the heart to help. Imagine you were able to really conceptualize this thing to reach out. As you know, we have 42,000 barangays in the country. And how many churches? My next question, what are the churches in the Philippines that you have helped so far through this iClip organization?
So we've facilitated overall the organization planted over 12,000 churches worldwide.
Wow, from the time you started, that's 2000.
The ICM the last 25 years, but iClip mainly concentrates in the Philippines. So we facilitate 16 building projects total, 2 pending, mostly in Malaybalay, Bukidnon, and in Pangasinan. So that's where all the concentration usually, yes.
So tell us, how does the world pandemic, your future plans, because you have to reach out, you're saying. So what are your future plans to move forward? This is 16 in Balay, in Bukidnon, and there's 2 other pending in Pangasinan, you're saying. So what are other, the next in pipeline, the next in your pipeline?
16 total, a combination of Balay, Bukidnon, and Pangasinan po. So the plans moving forward, I believe, is to create a sustainable ministry network, not for innovation, but for not for creation, but for innovation and partnerships. So yun po.
When you talk about partnership, how does that go? What's the mechanics?
Sure, and that's where the Vision 2040 movement. We're partnering with pastors and leaders and organizations to support mainly local churches, in the Philippines, in 3 areas: church building, discipleship, and community leadership initiatives.
Yes, community leadership initiatives. That's your background there.
That's
and
correct.
Of course, discipling here. That's the greatest commission. We all know that. Go and make disciples, and planting churches. If I may just say this, in our church, the Victory Christian Fellowship, that's our real goal. Plant churches. We won't convert anyone, but we will just plant the seed, and then it's a business of our Lord to what? Nourish it. In this day and age, a lot of people will say they know this, they know that, and they're so righteous, they will claim this and that. But again, we will not delve into that kind of righteousness. We have to have God and the Holy Spirit telling us what to say to them. The friendly evangelism stuff or that one. Okay, we had pandemic actually up to now. We're still feeling it. Some are still. We have this health protocols in place up to now. So how's the worldwide? How was it? How was it affected your mission?
The pandemic really accelerated the project in many ways.
It became a blessing, is that right?
Absolutely. What started as a weekly just sort of encouragement to our pastors and leaders turns out to be now a sustainable training led by amazing Pastor Archie and Pastor Alu and his co-leaders. So
right. When you say the pandemic has brought you more blessings in perhaps because more people stay at home and they have time to do Zoom and they have time to listen and hear, all your training. Is that what you did?
Yes, that's correct. Not just not just in the Philippines, but here in Virginia as well. And we realized that the Community Leadership Initiative Philippines, that Philippines in a sense is not contained by geographical location. Now we're engaged in hopefully starting a project in Amman, Jordan, hopefully next year.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
that's the Middle East. Why Jordan? What's there?
Right, I did not know, Sister Loli, that there are approximately 24,000 overseas workers in Jordan working as domestic helpers, restaurant workers, and to my surprise, there are many believers. And my heart really went out to a lot of the people who are working 16-hour days with very little pay. And some of them, a very abusive relationships.
Right.
And so I really, be honest, I fell in love with Jordan. I did.
Well, in the same breath, the Middle East is known for notorious employers. So I get a lot, throngs of complaints from our OFWs. We call them modern day heroes, and they are treated this way. They have to go there and make both ends meet, and then they get underpaid and they get abused and maltreated, and that's so sad. So perhaps not just Jordan, you can try the neighboring Riyadh, Jeddah, because these are the really, really I think abusive employers. I can say that I can look you in the eye because that's the fact. I get all sorts of complaints from our which is Filipino workers. But we're addressing it because right now I think the Saudi, just so you know, Pastor Archie and Pastor Fred, Saudi Arabia has already resumed or actually lifted the ban for deploying Filipinos. For a while, it was banned. No one can go there and work. Wow. But now, I think there's the update. They lifted the ban. So I have to do an interview with this government official of Department of Migrant Workers, Secretary Tunes Oplet, to find out what are they doing. Yes, it is lifted, but again, the treatment, do you have to, you guys have to do something like what you're doing, Pastor Fred, and Pastor Archie. You are reaching out. It's not just job. It's like they're sending them as commodity. It's already, that's so sad. If only, I think, I don't know, it just dawned on me about a second ago. I think the one that you should minister is the government officials here before they really deploy our Filipino workers, because they still are, hurting. So much hurt at me. Yeah, that's just a thought. Anyway.
That's part of the vision, Paul. That's part of the vision for us. Yes.
Great. Yeah, they should understand before, I keep saying this, before you leave the country, you should know what you should expect in the, port of destination where you're going, whether it's Kenya or Saudi Arabia or Hong Kong or Asia, because culture shock. You're not really used to being treated that way, because in the Philippines, you're like, what? You're like princesses here. You can like have somebody to drive you or somebody to clean your house and chores. But now there in overseas, it's you who will do that. And you will, you're at the mercy of your, oh my gosh, there's a lot horrible stories. But yeah, the Vision 2014. Oh, okay. What's the relationship of iClip, if I may ask, with the Vision 2040 movement?
Yeah, so the relationship between iClip and Vision 2040 really came about where we've been praying for how we can have a sustainable relationship. So I call them arranged marriage in heaven. Made in heaven.
Wow. It's like the bride. We are the bride right now. So it is arranged, made in heaven.
Yes, correct.
Can you expound on that? That's something new. People need to, people listening, tuning in right now. What's that?
Yeah, when Jesus said, "I will go away and build a house." The concept of Jewish household is that a father would send one of his servant to scout for a bride, and that bride would eventually be found, and the servant would be working along with the son, building a house, and when the house is done, then that's where the consummation happens. And so I believe that although the distance is there, there's this marital covenant, Vision 2040 together. That's correct. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. But we will take that up in another episode. Meanwhile, Vision 2040 movement. Who are the people involved in the Vision 2040 movement? Can Pastor Archie say something about it?
Yes. Well, early this year, we were talking about how to continue to reach out every barangay in the Philippines, but we don't want to be like the way we used to do mission. So ang ginawa natin ay yung mga kapastoran na nandun na sa Pilipinas ay mag-organize, pagkatapos mag-partner sa ICLIP, na sa ganon patuloy na masustain yung ating ginagawa. So marami na tayong na-train ng mga pastor, more than 500 pastors since 2020, kaya nasa batch 11 na tayo, papunta na tayo sa batch 11 sa training ng Mini Bible College, which is a curriculum for studying the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation, plus Sermon on the Mount at yung family and marriage. So ngayon, yung dumating na sa punto na kinakailangang maging matibay ang gawain na ito. So nag-create tayo ng organization at ang presidente natin si Pastor Jaime, ang secretary natin si Pastor Evan Toledo, ang ating vice chairman ay si Pastor Toti Romarate, and then meron pa tayong mga ibang officers na kasama doon. At ngayon ay itong mga kapatiran nito, organizations sa Philippines, ay on a weekly basis, we do conference on a weekly basis several times in a week. Nagkakaroon tayo ng mga training conferences at mga pag-uusap paano magkaroon ng sustainable discipleship movement in every barangay until 2040. Ayan.
Oh, ang ganda po, no? Sila Pastor Evan, you mentioned Pastor Jaime and Pastor Toti. So, nandito po yan sa Pilipinas, silang tatlo.
Basically, kasi ayaw natin na yung dati, yung mga organization dito sa Pilipinas ay sila yung nagpapalakad ng gawain dyan sa sa Amerika, mga organization sa Amerika nagpapalakad ng mga programa dyan sa Pilipinas. Pero ayaw natin yon. Gusto natin, mismong taga-Pilipinas, nagpapalakad ng programa taga-Pilipinas.
Oh, they can stand on their own, you mean? You just have to give them the tools, the equipment, and then you can set them free and, stand on their own. Sila na among themselves. You're saying that, right?
Of course, at pagkatapos yung connection hindi napuputol, parang meron tayong conduit of blessing nagpo-flow from here to there. But now, the decisions basically going forward ay nangyayari dun sa Vision 2040 movement.
Kasi alam po natin, Pastor Archie, Pastor Fred, na so minsan ningas kugon, alam niyo po ba yun? Sa umpisa lang aggressive, and then after a while dies down, it's natural death. Hindi siya sustainability. So when you talk about sustainability, ano pong concept? What are you perhaps applying to make it to make it different? Paano talaga ma-sustain?
So ang nangyari ganito, una ay yung iClip tumutulong, we help, we don't impose, no? We help the church in the Philippines sa pamagitan ng church building. Pero ang pandemic, pinakita sa atin, okay, ng Panginoon, bagamat ayaw natin ng pandemic, pero out of what happened, sabi ng Panginoon, mag-focus kayo sa discipleship. Okay? Yung process na yon. Ang discipleship is you sit down with group of people on a weekly basis talking about Jesus Christ from the Word of God. Yun ang kailangan. Hindi puro programang malalaki, mga pasyo, ganon. Kasi nag-fade out yun eh. Pero yung weekly basis na small group, nagba-Bible study kayo, tapos hindi mo sila ginagawa yun para dalhin sa church mo, kundi ginagawa yun para mag-grow sila as believers, makilala nila paano sa Kristo, and then continue on. At kinakailangan mangyari yun on a weekly basis. Yun ang sustainability. At tapos mag-grow to. At mula dun sa barangay na yun, ay magkaroon ng leaders. At sila mismo ang magkaroon ng impact sa kanilang sariling barangay.
So doon mahuhon o mag-groom kung sino yung pwedeng community leaders that you're saying for the three goals nyo: planting of church, discipleship, community leadership. But again, yung mga churches po kasi dito nga, yan ang mga nagiging problema. Gusto nila, nandun sa kanila yung passion to really do this. But yung lugar and then matatawag nating support or financial support, kulang eh. Because they can only do so much. Hindi naman po sila talaga well off. So where do you guys come in? Ano, kasama po ba yan sa supportahan nyo? Make it sustainable?
Pastor Fred siguro po ang pwedeng magsalita niyan at then later ay susuportan natin yung sasabihin ni Pastor.
Yeah, so Pastor Loli, yung sinasabi mo, let me my Tagalog is not good, Pastor
No
Loli.
problem.
I was born and raised in Cebu, but dito po na ako. I've been here for a long time. So, Pastor Loli, I believe that
Hindi pa po ako, Pastor.
Sir Loli.
Okay.
Yung sustainability really stems from how I studied Jewish community. And I was in Israel twice already, and so my the dream I have in the Philippines is really, and I had this dream, and to have the fields in the Philippines that are dry, that they will become fertile. The fields I've seen in Bukidnon, I mean, as far as your eyes could see, they're owned by pastors and leaders, but they're only used like maybe 10%. They don't know how. So I've learned in Israel, without Israeli technology, yung buong Africa would be wiped out. They created this what we call a drip system technology. You see in Israel, in a dry desert, you will have lush vegetables, fruits everywhere because they created this what we call drip technology. Now yung tubig underneath the desert, it sends when the water is needed, and so I'm in a mission to meet an Israeli company, hopefully next year, to visit this what we call kibbutz system, and yes, kibbutz system, and will one day implement this in the Philippines and help farmers become agricultural giants in the Philippines. Yan po, how we sustain, is how we empower the poor, is really investment, how we invest them through technology and innovation.
Yeah, it's like you teach them how to fish. You just don't give the dole outs and give them all the materials, tools, equipment, but teach them how to fish. Let them make out of themselves on their own how to do it when you've given it. But you talk, you mentioned about Israel. We all know it's a deserted area, and look how God is so amazingly blessed them with all this agriculture. I was there last year, so I was in awe, because it used to be desert. We all know that. Now it's like with greens and a lot of
agriculture giants.
And now the Philippines, we're situated in an arable land. We're so blessed that we have this kind of soil. And yet, Israel nga wala eh. Pero tayo, nandyan tayo, meron tayong ganung kasarap na lupain. And yet we're not doing it. Sabi nyo nga, Pastor Fred, a portion only is being used dyan sa ano. So, with agriculture, you would parang give them livelihood na rin. Di po ba?
Absolutely, yes.
That's
absolutely.
How you support them.
Yes,
And teaching them
absolutely.
how to fish. Hindi pwedeng magba-Bible study lang every week and all. No. You also have in the next 4 days, if you have Bible study being done once a week or twice a week, but the rest of the week, you work. Ito ang agriculture. Ito ang idea. Ito ang pwedeng gawin. Because ang ganda ng ating lupain. Ang sarap-sarap ng ating arable.
Absolutely. You know, when you mentioned Sister Loli na teach them how to fish, for us, that's not good enough. Okay. You're not only, because you're teaching a group of village people how to fish. And pretty soon, how are they going to sell those fish that they have? Okay, you got to teach them how to market the fish, how to make out of something out of nothing. Okay, so yun po ang goal po natin. Not just to become fishermen, to be, have a bait and tackle shop, how to fry fish, how to count fish. So yun po yun. Yes.
That's the problem we have right now. There's a lot of fishermen, fisher folk, and the thing is they don't know how to process because they don't have they don't have money. Now maybe I can hook you up with this government official who trains their code TESDA, technology skills, education skills and development authority. Because yun ang problema. Magaling nga tayo mangisda, husay tayo magsaka, pero ang gandun lang alam. Kasi we all know, hindi naman learned talaga ang ating mga fisher folks, hindi naman nakagraduate yung iba ang ating magsasaka. So eto, yung middleman, doon nagkakaproblema dahil sila yung magaling, sila nagtitake advantage. Kaya sila ang kumikita. Kasi ito, just so you know, coconut, mura bibigay ng magsasaka kay middleman. Alam mo, 100 pesos. Si middleman gagawin niyang 500. 500 kasi siya nag-process. Meron siya equipment. Kompleto siya ng lahat. Hindi niya tinuturo dito kay magsasaka. So, all the time, hindi pa rin alam nung magsasaka yung gagawin niya. All the time, puro saka lang yung gagawin niya. Pero talo na siya ng 400. While this middleman goes big time. So how do you address that? I'm putting this all into you because nandiyan na sa concept nyo to make them giants eh. Hindi pa pwede. Ako, I always want this to enlarge everyone's vision, to enlarge your vision, not just settle for mediocrity na magsasaka ka na all the time at fisher folk ka na lang all the time, all of your life. So,
Sister Loli, gusto ko mag-chime in diyan, ito yung nakikita natin kaya tayo nagkaroon ng 2040 vision. Kasi nga itong nangyayari sa barangay, sa grassroots ay walang leader na pwedeng mag-change ng environment, mag-change ng mindset ng mga tao. Actually, Tayong mga Pilipino matatalino. Sabi ko nga doon sa isang session namin, nung araw ay yung UP Los Baños nagtuturo ng paano magsaka. Mga Taiwan, Thailand. Pero pagdating mo dito sa sa Amerika, pagdating namin dito sa Amerika, ang mga produkto ng Thailand, produkto ng Asia, pwera lang ang produkto ng Pilipinas sa bigas ay nandito. Ano?
Okay. We will
yung
Okay, Pastor Archie, tinatimingan na ako ng stasyon or overtime tayo. We will come back, Pastor Fred, Pastor Archie, when after this station break. So hold your thought. Diyan lang po kayo, don't go away.
Si Miss Loli Acosta, Sulong na Bayan sa DWIZ 882.
Pabalik po muli ang ating programang Sulong na Bayan. Nako, ramdam na dito sa aking puso. At ang iba pang nagtitext sa atin na susulong. We will soar high like wings on eagle ang ating bayan ng Pilipinas. Can you imagine? Merong katulad ni Pastor Archie at Pastor Fred na ang puso ay talagang hindi yan nasa Amerika sila pero nandito pa rin ang kanilang puso sa Pilipinas to make it happen. Ito ang Vision 2040. So balikan po natin ang ating pinag-uusapan kanina, Pastor Fred, Pastor Archie, na again, yung Vision 2040 na conceptualize yan dahil nakita nyo ang need ng ating mga barangay na laylayan talaga. Were you here at one point in time? Bumisita ba kayo lately or last year, Pastor Fred, in the Philippines? Lalo na sa Bukidnon. Kasi yan yung ito ninyo eh.
So Pastor Archie dedicated yung, I believe, the 14th church building during the height of pandemic. Go ahead, share that, Pastor Archie.
Yeah, at the height of pandemic, dahil nga ongoing na yung ating weekly conference and video training as the Zoom, ay bumisita tayo December 5 sa Philippines at pagkatapos in-dedicate natin yung isang church building sa Bawang, La Union, and then we went on to do more training in a total of 10 trainings sa mula dun sa Bawang, papunta dito sa May Kawayan, sa Cavite, and then sa Zambales through Zoom, sa Bicol. Lahat ng ito ay ginawa natin within that 6 weeks period that we were in the Philippines during that time.
So, ganun ka, in so short a period of time, naka-10 trainings. Sa training, tell us more about it, expand on it. Ano po yung mechanics? So, para
ayun nga, yung training, meron tayong mini Bible college curriculum focus on studying the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, Sermon on the Mount, plus yung Family and Marriage. Ang problema kasi ay yung hindi nag-aaral yung mga tao mismo ng tama sa Biblia. Bakit natin gustong mangyari yan? Kasi pwede kang mag-aral ng mali. Kasi maraming mga kulto sa Pilipinas at dito rin sa Amerika nag-aaral ng mali tungkol sa Biblia. Pero pag tama ang pag-aaral ay dadalhin ka sa pagpapala. Yun ang blessing ng Panginoon. Ay hindi blessing na pupunta ka lang sa lahat. Blessing pati sa community, blessing pati sa society, blessing sa family. Lahat pong ito maapektuhan kapag tama ang pag-aaral sa salita ng Diyos. At ito ang tinuturo natin sa Mini Bible College.
And this is happening every week. Kailangan regular, religiously once a week. Ganun po ba? Yung Mini Bible College.
Actually, nag-training po tayo 3 times a week. Meron tayong youth training, meron tayong yung mga pastor and leaders training, tapos meron pa tayong trainers training. At besides doon, we talk about yung mga pwedeng gawing project. Ito na nga yung sinasabi natin na hindi talaga kailangan ng Pilipino yung pera. Ang kailangan yung mindset.
Right. Renewing the mind. Renewing
the mind. Yun yung kailangan. Kasi meron na tayong resources. Actually, sa Mindoro, meron ng inimpisan si Pastor Jaime. Wala pa kami. Yung problema sa economy, isa sa cooperative na pinangunaan ni Pastor Jaime sa Mindoro, ngayon merong more than 4 million in asset.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Kasi may cooperative po no? Magaling siya sa...
At pinangunahan ng isang pastor na hindi ang motibo dalhin sila sa church, kundi ang motibo i-transform yung community.
Right. Opo. Kasi yan ang... sa dami ng kooperatiba natin dito, hindi rin nila alam ang kanilang gagawin. Again, Hosea 4:6, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Sana yung knowledge na yun, tama, katulad na sinasabi nyo. Kasi lalo na ngayon, Pastor Fred, it's prevalent in the social media, a lot of fake news, a lot of different philosophies, a lot of beliefs, and it's like too good to be true when you just click anything, but you don't know which is the truth. So when you know the truth will set you free. Sabi nga ni Pastor Archie, you will be rich, you will be, the renewal of the mind, everything, the blessings will not be hindered kasi tama yung knowledge. So how, with the trainer's training that you mentioned, who trains them?
Ito nga, nung una, kami dalawa ni Pastor Fred, nagka-training. And then, of course, ang sustainability, dito nang gagaling. You don't only train people, but you train them how to become trainers.
Oh, okay.
Diba?
Okay.
So that's why merong trainers training. You train them to become leaders the way you lead them, or they will become more than you lead them. Okay? Better than you. Yun ang gusto natin mangyari.
Ang sarap marinig, Pastor Fred, that you're really sharing the talents, the skills, abilities that God has so richly and generously blessed you with. Hindi nyo siya tinatago. Yun yung alam natin na if you are capable of helping, do not withdraw it, do not procrastinate, do not delay it. Bigay mo na. Share it. Share the skills, the abilities, the talents. Hindi kayo kuripot o stingy o parang makasarili. Only if a lot of pastors can be like you guys na talagang all mine to give. Anyway, everything is temporal. When you perish, you can't even bring anything. When you're, became naked, will live naked. So yun yung lagi yung mindset, how do you do that? Renewal of the mind. Kasi yun nagiging bottom line ng problema. Because alam po natin, Pastor RG, Pastor Fred, sanay na tayo at we were raised and brought up the Catholic way. Ako Catholic way. We will not judge any beliefs now, but that's how I was brought up. So how do you arrange, renew their mind? Ano po yung siguro strategy? We can say it on air para yung mga nakikinig, they will know also what to do. Dahil nakaumpisa na sila ng church Doon lang nagkakaproblema. Paano po ba yung renewal of the mind? Maybe Pastor Fred can answer.
Sure, yeah. So, Sister Lolly, ito po yung when we started this vision, God laid out 21-year ministry blueprint. So this year, that's actually Romans 12:1 is our theme for this year and next year. Transformation in 7 key areas of our life. Spiritual transformation, physical transformation, mental transformation, emotional transformation, vocational, relational, and financial transformation. So I believe that na yung transformation na sinasabi natin is a process. Understanding that I learned that in understanding renewal, you have to get them out of that colonial mindset. Kasi tayo, I never dream of owning a business. Kasi I've always I came from a military background. I was in the Navy. I've always followed orders, chain of command. But I've always thought the way to prosperity is to study hard and, get a good government job and that's it, but never really understood there's potential in us to become something that out of the ordinary. So yan po ang natin is that for me the transformation is really stepping out of your comfort zone. Okay, not on your own. Understanding that everything belongs to God. Everything what we have belongs to God. Everything that God gives us is loaned by God. So yun ang pinakaunang foundation in understanding transformation, that everything I have belongs to God. So it's not really our own transformation, but it's God transforming us. And sometimes it's not what we're eating, it's what's eating us. Okay?
Right.
Yes.
What's controlling you?
Yes.
Opo, napaka-important. But you mentioned a whole lot: spiritual, physical transformation, emotional, vocational, relational, and financial. This sounds like a hard work. So I can help, this is what my dream as well is, to enlarge one's vision, not settle for mediocrity, because God made us wonderfully and fearfully made. Ang galing ng pagkakapulma sa atin, passion, the way He created us. And yet, ito parang laging api o laging subservient ka. You're not, sabi mo, military background ka. You're just like a good soldier. You just, no way. Dapat naman this time, eto na po ako, I can do this. But there's I can say this, there's like a thin line that if you get all this knowledge, you get to be, you get to pop up, you get to be boastful. So how would you, how will you address that?
Yes.
Sister Loli, I would like to respond to that, if I may. Ito yung sinasabi natin dito sa ating training. That's why meron tayong weekly training, because we're not only teaching them how to study the Bible, but also what is the effect of this in one's person, especially you're a believer. So nasabi ko sa mga young people especially, alam niyo ba, ang dalawang malaking problema natin sa Pilipinas ay ito. Number 1, electricity. Number 2, internet. Which the rest of our neighboring countries ay hindi masyadong problema. Diba? So sabi ko, alam niyo ba, ang ginamit ng Panginoon sa buong history of humankind, ang mga nag-transform ng world ay mga Kristiyano, katulad nung nag-imbento ng eroplano, mga anak yan ng pastor. Bakit? Kasi tama yung paniniwala nila sa Biblia, tama yung pag-aaral nila sa Biblia, tama yung nakikita nila sa Biblia. At ito ang nag-udyok sa kanila upang gawin, hindi lang sabihin, gawin yung dapat nilang gawin. Hindi lang yung para mag-Bible study, kundi gawin para magkaroon ng effect sa community, na ma-transform yung community, mabago yung community natin. Yun ang sinasabi na transformation, So hindi yung pera ang nagpapabago, kundi yung paniniwalang tama sa salita ng Diyos, at pagkatapos ay i-apply ito sa sariling buhay.
Yeah. Again, some skeptics will say, hindi, kailangan namin pera talaga eh. Paano kami makakatayo ng ganito? Ang daming kailangan, mga expenses to defray, etc., etc. So, you have to burahin, siguro kung pwedeng i-purge yung klase ng attitude na yan. Saan po ba nanggagaling? Bakit kailangan yun ng, in the heart of hearts of a lot of people, yun muna, financial. Ayan, kasi financial, we have to revolutionize their thinking or renew their minds in as far as financial is concerned, sabi ni Pastor Fred. So, how will you attack this? I just want to get a glimpse of yung ginagawa nyo every week na regular Bible study and all, at saka yung trainers training, etc. Saan po yung pwedeng strategiya to really address this financial connotation that you guys have to help us muna? Parang ganun.
Yes. Good, Pastor Archie. Good.
So, on the outset ng ministry namin, nung nag-umpisa po tayo, ang una naming sinabi sa mga kapastoran, hindi po kami naririto upang magbigay ng pera.
Okay.
Yan.
Clear.
Okay. Yun po yung maliwanag. Okay? Kasi most of the time, kapag galing sa ibang bansa at mayroong organization, ang iniisip, ano nga itutulong mo sa amin? Okay. Anong pwede mong ibigay sa amin? Okay? Na pera. Okay? So, binubura po natin yan. Ang pangalawa, sinasabi natin na yung mindset na ganito lang po ako, mahirap lang po. Huwag mong sabihin yun. Kasi pag sinabi mo na yun na yung mangyayari sa'yo. Okay? Diba? Dati ganun din ang isip ko eh. Yung ito lang magagawa ko, self-pity ba? Mostly Pilipino, ganun yung mindset. Kahit dito sa Amerika, may nakikita kami mga tao na they are settled for very low career, pero ang potential niya nandito. Diba? So, hindi, bakit? Wala kasing nag-challenge sa kanya o wala kasing naririnig na iba na nagsasabi, this is what you can do. Okay? This is what God has made you to be. Alisin mo yung kaisipan na mahirap lang po, hindi po namin magagawa. Ganito lang po kami. Kaya nga, when we talk to our people sa ating weekly training, I will always tell them, mababago yung background mo na yan na dingding na kawayan, someday papalitan ng Panginoon. Sasabihin mo, nag-tricycle ka lang, someday papalitan ng Panginoon yan because you believe on what God can do for you. And God will make that happen.
Opo. Kasi napaka-rich ng ating Panginoon eh. He doesn't want you to be pauper and talagang parang laging we have the youth. They say all the time, ang pag-asa ng bayan ay nasa kabataan. So, sa youth, ilan po yung parang nakafocus kayo? Kasi meron tayong youth na sinabi dito, no? Pastors, trainers, training at the youth. Pastor Fred, ano po yung parang vision nyo? Kasi sila na mga susunod na leaders of this country or the world. So dapat sila yung ini-equip talaga eh. Tayo kami, medyo paedad na eh. Pero itong youth, pasibol pa lang eh. So this early on, dapat sinasabi na sa kanila yung tamang katuruan, yung tamang pagbibigay ng Panginoon sa atin dahil kinreate na tayo wonderfully and fearfully made. Go ahead, Pastor Fred.
You know, Sister Loli, when I was in Israel, I was part of an Asian pastors leaders tour. It was a scholarship tour, hindi po yung tourist tour. But we were brought to this place called Shimon Peres Technological Center. But it was through the Prime Minister Shimon Peres. He coined this phrase, a Hebrew phrase, tikkun olam. Tikkun olam. Tikkun olam simply means to save the world, but what that means really is if you save a life, as if you're saving the life of the entire world. Then on the other hand, it says if you kill a life, as if you're killing the life of the entire world. So I realized how the Jewish culture, they bring the youth together, entrepreneurs, people with different backgrounds. There's no competition, but cooperation in many aspects. So maraming technological breakthroughs, maraming mga medical breakthroughs because of that concept, tikkun olam. I believe that if we empower yung mga youth natin, they will come up with many of our GPS systems, ways invented in Israel, many po. Now they just found out oil reserves. They're now exporting that. Yeah, in many. So that's what I learned. We have to empower our youth and allow them, to think.
Okay, because we have different sangay ng pamahalaan, different government agencies. Pastor Archie here. Of course, we have Department of National Highways, Department of Workers, Department of Education, who is headed by no less daughter of the previous president of this country, President Duterte. She's Sara Duterte, she's the secretary, siyang head po ng Department of Education. So, can we perhaps, again, this is just my thought, you can note it down, perhaps you guys can write a letter and make it a module isaksak yan, idagdag yan. Parang katulad po ng good manners and right conduct na wala kasi yan for a while. So sad, ano? Ako growing up, meron tayong GMRC, yung subject na yan, na wala ng kaunti. I don't know for what reason. Yan, ibabalik nila, that's the good news. Pero dagdagan natin ito, Pastor Fred. That, ang tawag nito, tikum ulan.
That's right.
Somehow, maipaintindi that if you're saving one life, you're saving the entire world.
That's right.
Amen.
Yeah, pwede nyo po yung isulat. I can have a marginal note. You address it to me perhaps, and then we can directly send it to the Secretary of Education. Mag-isip sila, baka pwede isama to kaysa kung ano-ano pang iniisip nila mga curriculum dyan, dagdag nila to.
Maganda pong idea yan. Actually, bago pa ninyo sinabi, pinag-uusapan na namin yan na I think 3 weeks ago. Bakit po? Kasi yung isang leader natin na tinrain na dito sa MBC ay nag-reach out sa kanyang community sa Aklan. Okay? Si Pastora Stephanie Pagian. At nakita nila doon sa school na yon, maraming mga young people na di-depress at nagsuicide. So ngayon, nag-reach out siya doon sa school at sinabi niya na kung pwedeng makatulong sila sa pagtuturo sa mga bata upang maiwasan ang ganitong mga pangyayari among the youth. So, nag-create ngayon sila nag-create kami ng isang strategy how to do that. At ngayon ay papunta na doon sa stage na maituturo ang mga bagay na ito sa mismong school na yon. So you're going to the grassroots. Hindi ka lang nagsasabi doon sa taas, kundi meron ka nang ginagawa. Pag sinabi mo sa taas, meron na nangyayari. May proven ka. Diba? Yun ang sinasabi natin.
That's good news, but we have to really end this program because magpa-part 2 tayo. This is overwhelming to me, but thank you, Pastor Fred, for joining us. Alam ko madaling araw na dyan, and Pastor Archie, but we will have part 2 next week. I'll just have to coordinate with Sister Marianne. All right, thank you so much. I have to really end this because it's 3:01. Thank you, Engineer and June Aguba, writers Ma'am Judy Estrada Larino, ating news director, Iram Sancho, Rashid Luxin, Abby Malanday, as sa social media, si Jam Darayo, King Gomez, at sa CA natin, Hias Pantaleon, Micah Cervanes, Jess Baramada. At susunod na po ang Oro, obserbasyon, reaksyon at opinion sa DWIZ, kasama si David Oro. This is Loli Rivera Acosta saying thank you to Pastor Archie and Pastor Fred. As I always say, keep God first in every area of our lives, so He will direct our path. God bless everyone.
Si Miss Loli Acosta, Sulong na Bayan sa DWIZ.